All right. Now this one can be edited. We can make it an official start of sorts. Nah, that's not it. That's the one.
That's the one.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to 2C3 Pod, YouTube exclusive.
Two's Company, Three's a podcast.
That's right. Read the shirt, not my mouth.
Yeah.
But either way, today we are here for a special video that I told Dylan, get the fuck out of my way. I want to make one for myself.
And what did I do? I got the fuck out of the way, and we're going to talk about Mitch's top
5 favorite sitcoms. Sorry, I didn't. I thought I told you to get the fuck out of this one.
Anyway,
that's a jokey joke. But anyway, no, that's right. Dylan isn't much of a sitcom. Sitcom. Yeah. I mean, he does that all right. But hey, he isn't much of a sitcom viewer. Whereas I myself grew up on sitcoms. I still love sitcoms. I watch new sitcoms. I watch old sitcoms on reruns multiple times. And I have a huge list of my favorite sitcoms. So I wanted to make a first part of my favorite sitcoms. So this one may only be 5. And trust me, there's going to be some big ones on there that miss out. But there's going to be at least 2 more of these videos of top 5 sitcoms because I love them so much.
So keep a lookout for your favorite lists of sitcoms that Mitch watches.
Well, not only that, comment below if I've missed the ones that you want to see on the next list because I guarantee they're probably going to be.
Absolutely.
But for now, we're going to kick it off with a classic one that I absolutely adored as a growing boy. Yes, but it really stuck with me and I watched it a fuck ton through my teen years. Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh, yeah.
I love Everybody Loves Raymond.
Now, I'm glad you brought that up first because I can actually speak about Everybody Loves Raymond a little bit.
Yeah.
As we've already established, I'm not the biggest fan of sitcoms. I have watched a lot of sitcoms over the years, but not as religiously as you have.
Yes.
But with The Irishman making its way onto Netflix recently, Ray Romano starred in that.
Yeah.
But it's not often you see someone like Ray Romano star in films.
No, that's right. Well,
at least often or lately. But Everybody Loves Raymond was an amazing, heartwarming, funny family comedy TV show from the 90s or was it early 2000s?
No, both. 96 to 2005 was its original run and ran for 9 seasons. And top to bottom, the cast list, Ray Romano, Patricia Heaton, Brad Garrett, Doris Roberts, Peter Boyle, rest in peace. It was just a wonderful look at a real life kind of family, you know, like just the basic story of that, the Italian-American family, you know, No, it's just one of my favorite ones personally, and it had to be somewhere on one of these lists, so I thought I'd chuck it in the first one. It's just a fantastic show, and if it comes to a streaming service, I will gladly rewatch it start to finish, because at the moment it's not.
I'll certainly tune in as well. Like, obviously not from start to finish, but like I always had a fond time with Peter Boyle playing the grumpy old man, the father. He was Frank hilarious. He definitely reminds me of something like that 70s show. Kurtwood Smith.
Red.
The hard-boiled old man who just, puts his boot up your ass whenever something needs to get done. That's what it reminded me of. So Everybody Loves Raymond is a great show. Yeah, no, it deserves to be on this list, that's for sure. But, all right, moving forward, we're going to go to a little bit more of an obscure one that ran for 6 seasons in the 2009 to 2015 period. Yep.
Not many people know of it, but I absolutely loved it. No, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, Cougar Town.
Ooh.
Yes, Cougar Town, created by Bill Lawrence, creator of Scrubs. See future list for Scrubs. Cougar Town, created by Bill Lawrence, starring Courtney Cox. Who else did you have? Krista Miller, Busy Phillips, Dan Bird, Josh Hopkins, Ian Gomez. It was so under the radar. The ratings were always terrible. I have no idea how it lasted 6 seasons, but once you got into it and got to know the characters, it became so self-aware of how bad good it was that it was amazing. Honestly, I loved it top to bottom. Every episode is a must, and the finale, the last episode ever, it's just so good.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, no, it's one of those ones that really, it's so goofy, silly, but still had that heartwarming side, but the characters never evolved. Okay. If that makes sense. It kind of took that page out of Seinfeld, like where the characters never evolve,
never really changed over the years.
Yeah, no, that's right. They do progress with relationships and things like that, and there is a new baby that comes into it and things like that, but in reality, they're still the same immature people, all living on the same cul-de-sac.
You're right.
So yeah, no, Cougar Town. If that comes to a streaming service, I will rewatch that until the end of time. I just love it to bits. I've only got it illegally downloaded, just to be honest.
Oh, Courtney Cox. I've always been a fan of Courtney Cox, especially because I know I say that I don't really watch sitcoms, but I've watched Friends from start to finish over. Like that's the one TV show besides The Simpsons that I've watched from start to finish, like more religiously anyway. She's always been good in everything I've seen her in. Obviously, she's had a few changes over the years regarding like her physical appearance.
Of course.
Bit of plastic and makeup, but she's a great actor. Yeah, and I'm sure she was funny in this.
Oh no, she's fantastic in this, and her and Krista Miller, who is Bill Lawrence's wife, actually in real life, creator of Scrubs and Cougar Town. It's just fantastic, and like Ray Romano, Courtney Cox didn't really need to do much because they made a fuck ton of coin from their original sitcom. So Cougar Town, it's a must-see if you get the chance to and if you're a fan of an upcoming sitcom on my list.
Ooh.
But the next one on my list is one that came and went in the 90s but was very solid for its time, Just Shoot Me.
I
absolutely loved Just Shoot Me. Now, Just Shoot Me was David Spade after his Saturday Night Live run, getting to hold on to that and become a part of an ensemble cast. He turned down his own show to do this because he said, wait, I'm not stupid here. A show by myself after I've just exploded could go terribly wrong and ruin me. I'm going to safely join an ensemble cast, and thank God that he did, because we got Laura San Giacomo, George Segal, Wendy Malick, Enrico Colantini, and David Spade as that wonderful ensemble cast working at the publishers. And it's just, all of them together, they just mesh so well because they're so different.
I remember this show being incredibly relatable in terms of being like a modern day worker, in terms of the jokes that it was conveying. But David Spade was starred in one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid, but I didn't realize it was actually David Spade until I was in my 20s, where I got the opportunity to revisit that film. Coneheads.
Oh, Coneheads. Yeah, of course, man.
Loved that film as a child, but hadn't seen it since a child. So David Spade is actually quite a talented comedian and actor.
Dan Aykroyd, Jane Curtin,
Coneheads. Yeah, that's right. And he also made his fame as well alongside, what was the comedian? He was always overweight. Chris Farley.
Chris Farley, Tommy Boy.
Yeah,
Black Sheep.
They had like a good sort of comedic duo as well. So Just Shoot Me was certainly a good show at the time. I definitely remember it.
Yeah, like I said, I think he made the right choice by far. There is a ton of shows from the 90s, like the Ellen DeGeneres show and the Tom Green show, and all of these guys got given shows because that's what everyone wanted, but they were just dog crap and never lasted more than a season or two.
Except for
Ellen, he had the option of, hey, here's your own show with your name all over it, or here's this sitcom with an ensemble cast. And he was like, I can see what's going to happen here.
It works well with others.
And exactly. And they actually filmed the pilot and then offered him a spot in the show, and then they completely refilmed the pilot with him.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so they actually took him as a big
interesting
player.
Bit of trivia there, ladies and
exactly.
gentlemen.
That's right. Not just a pretty face. But enough about David Spade. Anyway, so Just Shoot Me, I had to chuck on the list because this is another one that I've got on DVD that I rewatched multiple times. And hey, again, for the third time in a row, if this comes to a streaming service, I will rewatch it start to finish because it's fantastic. But anyway, moving forward, down to my second last one. Now, you somewhat predicted it earlier.
Okay.
And it's going to be there. And honestly, it is it would be tied for my favorite along with my number one on this list. But I can't pick a favorite sitcom, man. I've got too many, but I have to put Community very high on my list. Now, this one was introduced to me by Toby. Shout out, Toby.
Toby tried very hard for me to get into this as well, and I have
you should have committed.
I've seen the first 2 seasons, but I haven't watched past that. There was an episode that starred Jack Black, and that was the episode.
And
that
one also at the end of that episode also had a Noah Wilson cameo as well.
Yeah, but I haven't seen it beyond that episode.
But regardless, I'm sure many people have heard of Community. A lot of the internet, it's the internet's darling sitcom. It's the one that got cancelled a couple of times, but got brought back by the fans' demands and things of that nature. It was honestly at the end of the golden age of sitcom television, because at the moment sitcom television is like almost dying because of the way streaming services and things like that work, and Community came in at the perfect time to kill it. In like the best possible way, because it's so meta and self-aware that it's just one of the most quotable shows that I've ever seen. And the ensemble cast: Joel McHale, Gillian Jacobs, Danny Pudi, Alison Brie, Ken Jeong, Yvette Nicole Brown, Jim Rash, Donald Glover, Chevy Chase. I mean, the amount of talent that this show had and the amount of comedic timing, thank you to Dan Harmon, also creator of Rick and Morty. Yeah, and this is one of those things that it almost feels like you needed to be there in time to watch it and appreciate it for what it was, kind of thing. Like Toby got me into it after season 2, and from season 3 onwards, I was watching as it was coming, and it's just so good. It felt special It was one of the last ones to feel special.
This was where Donald Glover really.
This was where Donald Glover became a name. Yeah. But this was where he got to show people more than what he was capable of doing at the time. Like, he'd done a bit of stand up here and there, a little bit of acting, not too much in that. And it was actually in between breaks of takes of the show where he started writing his music more in depth.
Yeah.
And from that spawned his albums and EPs that he's released, and he's gone on to become Childish Gambino and star in the Han Solo movie and things of that nature, and he's become a real big name, and that's why he had to leave middle of season 5, which is unfortunate. But basically, this show start to finish, season 1 to 3, gorgeous. They're brilliant. Season 4 is the gas leak year. We won't mention that. Season 5 is where Dan Harmon came back, and season 5 is amazing. Season 6 was on Yahoo TV.
Yeah.
So it was made just for the internet. So they were 30-minute episodes instead of 21. So it lost a little bit of charm, but I've gone back and rewatched them all. And even the gas leak season, they're honestly full of the funny that made Community what it was, made it so self-aware. And Arbed and Troy, mostly Arbed and the way his humor worked, opened so many avenues for them to be able to do so many crazy things that sitcoms cannot normally dare to do. But Community, it is on a streaming service. It is on Stan in Australia, and I believe Netflix in America. I'm not 100%, but it's on a streaming service because it's still so relevant and new.
Yep.
Go and watch it, start to finish. Appreciate it. It's amazing. One of a kind.
Very good.
Now,
and last on your list.
Last on my list
this episode.
Last on my list for this episode is probably my favorite from a sentimental point of view of all time.
Yep.
Third Rock from the Sun. Now, this one to me is one of the most underappreciated sitcoms of the 90s.
Yep.
And with the stacked cast they had, and Bonnie and Terry Turner, who were the creators and the great minds behind the show, oh man, I feel like this has been underrated for years. Yes, John Lithgow won Golden Globe for it, I believe, and an Emmy or two. But I feel like it came, and as soon as it finished, everyone forgot about it.
Yeah,
but
right.
I still own all of the DVDs. I still rewatch this at least once a year. It's just hit me in that spot where it is the most goofiest sitcom you can think of, but it does it in a way where it still makes you grow on the characters and still makes you like these guys do not progress whatsoever. They learn bits and tidbits along the way because they literally started as adult newborns, basically.
Right.
Learning the world for the first time, and all their experiences are literally from a perspective of, I've never done this before. Like,
I remember when this show was on TV, it was huge at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously the actors have gone on to do bigger and better things, except for maybe John Lithgow, where he's always done big and good things.
John Lithgow's always been an A+ player.
Yeah.
Everything he's touched has been A+, but this was like the perfect show for the end of the millennium.
Yeah.
Like, this was the golden age of sitcoms. Like, you had it competing with Everybody Loves Raymond. Seinfeld, right at the beginning, it was still competing with Seinfeld. Like, there were so many good sitcoms on at this time.
Yeah.
And this one won the awards and did get the praise, but I feel like once it finished, everyone just forgot. And I'll tell you what, if you watch this show from start to finish, that final episode, that final scene is like, oh man, I almost tear up just thinking about it, honestly. Yeah. It's just so, oh man, after 6 years, you just love them all to bits.
That's the thing that some good sitcoms do, and they end with a... because you learn to grow and with these characters over the course of the years that these TV shows are on.
Yep.
And when you watch all of the TV shows, whether it's live from them being released on television or on DVD, and you binge them, when you get to that end, it's heartbreaking and you want to start from scratch again.
Oh, yeah.
But you know you should move on. Yeah. It teaches you to move on.
No, that's
There's a sitcom that I watched which ends on a very heartbreaking note, which I won't get into because this is your video. But if it if Third Rock from the Sun does something similar in the way that it does break your heart a little bit for the TV show to end, I think that's a brilliant way to end a sitcom, and it sounds like it's lived its purpose.
Absolutely. But the key element for me with this show in particular is the fact that they are literally 4 grown newborns, because everything they do is for the first time, like I said.
Yeah.
So it's almost remembering yourself, how you dealt with those situations as you grew up, kind of thing, and that, and the innocence that they have, the ignorance to like just life in general is just amazing. But Third Rock from the Sun will always have that special place in my heart, and I don't think anything can top it. But there are several that I do want to touch on in future episodes, because there are so many more on the list that I had to fight myself from including here. So if it's not on here, make sure to comment below, and I'm sure it will be in the next one, and that's for sure. What was the one you were... Tell me which sitcom it was.
Friends.
Friends, of
At
course.
the end of the sitcom, they all put their key on the bench, and then the camera zooms in, and all their keys are sitting there, and it breaks my heart.
I know.
Yeah.
That's that.
I didn't want to bring it up because I thought this is your episode.
No. It doesn't bother me. I was curious as to which one you were referring to, but that one, yes. No, that's one thing. Sitcoms have way more heart than people give them credit for.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, for me to get into a sitcom, it takes quite a lot to be able to sit there from start to finish, but there are certain shows which I have sat through. It just doesn't happen as often because I'm thinking of a million things at once.
Yeah.
But if you're a fan of sitcoms and you want to see more videos like this, comment down below, hit that subscribe button and like the video, of course. Mitch is going to be presenting a hell of a lot more videos based on his favorite sitcoms where I'll interject every now and then. Yeah. We have 2 podcasts every week, all based on pop culture news and video games and movies and TV shows, etc., etc.
That's right. And 4 weekly videos on YouTube as well. Don't forget that. And Dylan is going to be getting some going with some games as well. And I'll interject every now and then because that's not my forte.
Absolutely. Yes. Now, you can find us on Facebook, also Instagram and Twitter at 2C3pod, as the YouTube page suggests.
That's right. My name is Mitchell, along with Dylan.
My name is
Two's
Dylan.
Company.
And you are Mitchell. You can find us on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube.
We're doing that? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
we can do it.
Yeah, well, fair enough. Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to hit us up with an email, twoscompany3podcast@gmail.com.
Thank you for tuning in. My name is Dylan. As always with my co-host,
Mitchell. And don't forget, we are Two's Company, and you are the podcast. We'll cut that.
Yeah, we'll cut that out.
Oh, dear. I didn't think we were going off the script. I just thought we were just winging it. Thanks for tuning into that video by Two's Company Freezer Podcast. Don't be sad though. There's plenty more where that came from. Another cheeky video right there. Maybe even hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. Or if you don't like our faces, check us out on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube.